All right, everyone, this is Sharif right here with We Buy Black. This is the 29th day of New Africa August. A lot of you all have been participating for the whole month. We're getting ready to close it up, but before we do, we have an amazing final run through. Today we have our brother Lonnie Saboor, who I know personally. He's an excellent example of a man and of a brother and a community member. But he's also the director of small business of Invest Atlanta. And today, he will be giving us a presentation for those that are here in Atlanta who are relocating to Atlanta on ways that they can take advantage of some of the opportunities that Invest Atlanta has to offer. So Brother Lonnie Saboor, welcome. How you doing, brother?
Doing fantastic. Thank you. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing real good, man. Doing real good.
Great, great. Thanks for inviting me. This is a great program. The month of August. My birthday is August 31st, so I want to thank you for celebrating my birthday as well, doing this whole process of the events, which are just staggering in terms of the information being shared to the people, and it's so enlightening in terms of what we need, especially going through this pandemic time frame we're in right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. It was a big deal for us, man, to make sure that we highlight members in our communities out here actually doing the work. When we talk about New Africa, this is something that we're in the process of building, something that, we would like for our community to be able to look at and say that this is ours. Whereas that right now, a lot of what we look at in our community does not necessarily belong to us. So New Africa is extremely important. And New Africa August will allow for us to really dedicate our time, our energy, and our focus towards making this a reality, making this happen. So we know that you've put a lot of people in business just in your life, right? And a lot of people know you for your work with Invest Atlanta. But how about you talk a little bit about before you got started with Invest Atlanta?
Oh man, that's going to go way back. Because I got started with Invest Atlanta when it was known as the Atlanta Economic Development Corporation in 1979. So I've been doing this now. This is my 42nd year working with the small business community, minority female businesses in the city. But prior to that, I guess the major thing I did was I was the Southern Regional Business Manager for the Nation of Islam for a couple of years after I converted to the Islamic religion. And I was blessed to be able we had about 7 or 8 different business restaurants. We had fish markets. We had a bakery. We imported fish from Peru, sardines from Morocco. Had a scientist who was also a professor at Morehouse College who developed a water purification system. So back in 1976, we were actually selling 5-gallon and a gallon containers of purified water back in the day before anybody else was doing it besides Crystal Springs, which back then was our only competition, was Crystal Springs. Wow. And now you got so many companies on board. And then I spent some time too. I worked for a stop-and-go convenience store chain. Had 7, 8 different locations that I was in charge of around Metro Atlanta during that time. And I actually worked for 2 years also with the state of Georgia, out the governor's office of budget and management. And so I learned a lot of things about interaction with government entities and how to work and how to negotiate with that. But all that kind of led up to me being able to assist the businesses in Atlanta, which I think was part of my calling as well. Everything else I did over the years led me up to that particular situation. Yeah. And one of the things, I'll be talking about this in my presentation today, is that I've learned a long time ago, when I first started this in 79 and 80, that if you could tap into government money, you could tap into the lower interest rates that are possible for businesses to be able to be successful. When I first started doing this back in the early 80s, the savings and loan associations, a lot of them were closing down. The primary interest rate you could get on financing, believe it or not, was like 18 to 22%. Wow! So if you got a loan for 15%, you said, "Oh God, thank you for 15%." But even back then, I was able to do loans with the city as low as 7%. And I also identified some financing of resources I could pull in from the Small Business Administration directly, because I also operated a local development company for the city called Atlanta Local Development Company, and we were able to actually access money at 3 and 4%, when everybody else was paying 18%. So when the pandemic hit here this year, we were I know we were among the first. We might even have been the first in the country to establish a COVID-19 business continuity loan fund to assist the people who were in Atlanta who were suffering so much from this pandemic. And I remember we got calls from all over the place. I mean, New York, California, you name it. They were trying to figure out how do we do it so quickly. And I always tell people we did it so quickly because we've been doing it for 40 years. So it wasn't like a shocker. It wasn't like we didn't know that in order to help these businesses, especially small business and minority female businesses, you don't need to put a lot of burden on them in terms of being able to have to charge high interest rates, because it's almost like you're paying a price. You're a startup company, you're trying to get out the ground, you've had some problems before in your business, your credit's not what it should be, so you get penalized by having to have 15, 18, 20, 22% interest rates on the financing. It even puts a greater burden on you. So over the course of those 40 years, I've been able to come up with, develop really over 11 different programs. Some of them were with no interest. Some of them were 1 interest, 2%, 3%. None of them were probably over more than like 4 or 5% even during that time frame. But it provides us an opportunity to take advantage of that. And that's what government financing can do. And I always tell people, the only thing I'm doing here is giving you your money back. Because all the money we get, all the federal money we use, all the city money we use, that's your tax money. So the only thing we're doing is giving your money, your own money back to you to help you grow and expand your business opportunities.
There's quite a few people. I mean, I know a lot of business owners here in Atlanta, and quite a few of them that I ran into. I was like, well, how did you get how did you get the funding to establish this or to buy that building, et cetera? And your name came up a few times. It was like, well, I went through Invest Atlanta, and there's a brother over there named Lonnie Saboor. He helped me out, and I said, man, I know Lonnie. So that happened quite a few times, man. So your reputation is out there for sure.
Yeah, we always try to be, as I say, lend a helping hand to people. I mean, we only have 2 requirements in financing you get from us at Invest Atlanta. Number 1, we want you to stay in business, and number 2, we want you to pay us back. Right. So we work with you when you get in a little bit of trouble. Maybe you're closing a loan with Invest Atlanta. You got the money, then you ran into a snag. Some businesses before this pandemic was seasonal. Like if you were depending on, let's say, students around Atlanta, Georgia State University Center, then it comes summertime, your sales are going to fall down. So we have one of our clients, that's what happened with him. He said, man, my revenue, he just started to open up that 1 year. He said, my revenue has decreased like over half during this period of time. Can you guys help me out? We ended up deferring his payments for 3 months. Wow. The whole process during that summertime that allowed him to kind of stay in business until the students came back. So it's always looking out for the other person, looking and trying to see how we can be of assistance to you, which has always made us a little bit different from the average financial institution. And then when you have an awareness of that, and then because we work with you, and I just tell you too, when I first started doing this work, I was known as an economic developer loan packager. And so what that means is that I learned what it takes to be successful. So when a person comes to me for financing, I tell them exactly what I need, what they need to get me, what they need to do, what needs to be changed or modified, whatever we got to do to give themselves a chance to being approved by a credit review committee, which consists of 6 commercial bankers, by the way, who approve all these loans. And so I would say that probably 9.5 out of 10 people who listen to us and do what was necessary to position themselves to get approved end up getting approved. So, like I said, all we want you to do is stay in business and pay us back. And because we want to take your money, we want to pay it forward to somebody else so we can help out.
Exactly. So I know you're getting ready to jump in your presentation. I'm going to back off the screen, allow for you to be able to go through the presentation, but I'll be here. If you need anything, Rashid is here. We're all here on board. So we'll go ahead on and let you do your thing. Just shout if you need us.
All right, fantastic. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to thank our listening audience too. for giving us the time and taking the time to kind of listen to our presentation information. I'm going to start by talking about the vision, the mission, and the equity core value for Invest Atlanta. So our vision is to make Atlanta the most economically dynamic and competitive city in the world. Our mission is to advance Atlanta's global competitiveness by growing a strong economy, building vibrant communities, and increasing economic prosperity for all Atlantans. Our equity core value is that we believe economic prosperity and competitiveness starts with equity for all Atlantans. So that's really our focus point. And today I'm talking about the small business programs of Invest Atlanta that really been helping a lot of people. And as Sharif mentioned, I've been doing this a long time, and I've probably funded well over 700 businesses now, probably 800 businesses now, plus what's happening this year. And we leverage over $500 million of public and private sector financing. And so we know how to access the money, access the capital. And I want to say this too, we really thank our current Mayor Bottoms, for her support in our small business programs, and the entire City Council of the City of Atlanta for the 42 years almost I've been working with business in the City of Atlanta. We've always had the full support of the mayors of the City of Atlanta and the City Council members. So we want to thank them for letting us be able to do what we can do to help small businesses. So I want to start by talking about, this is the grandfather of our programs, the Business Improvement Loan Fund Program. Now, as you can see on the screen here, this program here provides financing. Right now it's up to $50,000. We have the ability to go up to $100,000 for this particular program right now that we're looking at leveling off at $50,000. And finance is available to you as an either existing business in the City of Atlanta or a startup in the City of Atlanta. And the interest rates are going to vary. Normally it's been averaging lately, I'd say between as low as 2% to about 4%, but it would be a fixed rate. And if you're a startup operation, and you need to bring to the table at least 20% equity, which means if you have a project cost of $50,000, you should have at least $10,000 that you can put in on your own in terms of what you're trying to accomplish. The funds can be used to help you to buy commercial property. One of the challenges today is that a lot of businesses who have a location in mind or already have a location have lost out because the landlord has decided not to renew their lease or to increase their rates in terms of what they're paying per month in terms of rental fees. And so that has been a problem for some people. They couldn't afford that, they had to relocate. So this program can be used to help you in that area. Now, if you are also a potential commercial property owner, someone wants to buy property, we can also assist you with renovating the property if you already own it, or to help you to acquire the building if possible as well. This program is also available to you on both of those tiers. I mentioned the equity part of it, and that right now the application fees have been waived until March 2021. So anyone that makes an application into Invest Atlanta, for all of our programs, I've mentioned each one that go through them each individually, we're waiving the application fee. And so what that also means is that we have deferred payments until March 15 of 2021. For anybody that applies for financing, gets approved, gets closed, spends the money as directed by what they want to use it for, you have until March 15 of 2021 to make your first payment back to Invest Atlanta. This is a list of some of the target areas that we have identified so far based upon the census tracts information that qualifies for the Business Improvement Loan Fund Program. You can see Auburn Avenue, Donnelly, Hollowell Parkway, Camden Road, Cascade, East Atlanta, Georgia Avenue, Heart of Atlanta, downtown, south of 5 Points downtown, Kirkwood, Mortar Drive, ML King, Laurie Boulevard, Prior Street, Metropolitan, West End, Dale Avenue, Sylvan, Techwood Park. So you might also be in a target area that might be off these major streets, like off of Camden Road. You got the low, so you might be off one of these areas here, but still qualify for the program. Let's give us the address. We can confirm if you're in a low, what's known as a low mod interest census tract area that qualifies for the financing. And let me say this too. Now on the screen today, but we recently got approved from the same funding. All this money for BLF Business Improvement Loan Fund program comes from HUD. It's known as Cumulative Block Grant Funds, CDBG funds, and so these funds this year, because of COVID-19, we applied for some additional money specifically to assist businesses in these low-mod community areas of the city of Atlanta. And during that whole process, we were awarded an additional $1.1 million are going to be used for new loans to be made in these corridors, in addition to our existing program. We're looking at making funding projects and with this fund from $100,000, probably between $10,000 and $100,000 of financing. Same requirements as a regular business improvement loan fund program it is in general. But I want to bring it to your attention that we're interested in trying to identify those projects that can also qualify for that particular program as well. And so when you make application and you let us know which amount of money you're looking for, we might be able to tie you to this new program, which is coming out probably during the month of September. All right. Okay, the next program we have is the Phoenix Fund. This fund here, this money from here comes from the Economic Development Administration, EDA, and the funds can be used as the BLF funds are to help you to buy commercial property, renovation, equipment, furniture, fixtures, working capital, and inventory, all eligible items. The way it's structured right now directly, we can do a third of financing not to exceed 33% or $100,000 of the total amount of money that you can get from this particular fund itself directly. You see the terms between 3 to 7 years, 15 years for real estate acquisition, prime rate, half a prime plus 2. This program is available citywide, unlike the Business Improvement Loan Fund program, which is geared toward certain areas of the city, low-mod income areas of the city. This program here, the Phoenix Fund, is available to you anywhere in the city of Atlanta. And like the Business Improvement Loan Fund program, application fees are waived until March of 2021. And also, if you get a loan from us, the first payments are going to be due back to Invest Atlanta in the month of March of 2021. So you can't beat that, I tell you. Yeah. Now, just like the BLF, so we have the Atlanta Cares Revolving Loan Fund is a new fund that we got. We were handpicked by the Economic Development Administration, EDA, to receive an additional $760,000 of money from EDA to support this effort of EDA financing in the city of Atlanta. And that program is going to be launched also during the month of September. The good thing about this one is that unlike the regular Phoenix Fund that you see right now, the Atlanta Cares Revolving Loan Fund will have the capacity to give you money up to $100,000 direct without any participating from another lender. So that's going to be a great asset for us. The only thing it can't do, the BLF can do, is that we're looking at financing just businesses only. So if you're just a commercial property owner, you don't qualify for this particular program. But if you're a business operator, if you're a startup, if you're an existing company, we can assist you on both levels as we move forward. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're always looking for opportunities to identify new funding sources that we can utilize to assist businesses in the city of Atlanta. So we approached the city council, and the city council allowed us to get some money in the general fund money to set the Opportunity Loan Fund, which is primarily geared toward companies that are already established. You're looking at growing, expanding. You're looking at adding on a new management team, and you want to continue to expand and develop your company to another level. And some of that requires you to maybe have in place a retirement package for your top management team you're adding on, and health insurance coverage. So those are two of the requirements associated with this particular program. Now, the program gives you financing of $100,000, but it has to be matched by at least an additional $100,000 from the private sector. That could be equity money you bring into the table. It could be bank financing that you've identified, so it could be other sources of funds that you've accessed that can leverage that other $100,000 you might need from Invest Atlanta. The interest rate is set at half a prime plus 2%. And if a startup operation still has 20% equity, now in most cases, the regular starter would not qualify for this program. An established existing business trying to expand would normally do that. But on occasion, if it's going to be like an established franchise situation, you might have things in place already that will parallel the private sector business has been around for a time. So we can still talk to you about seeing how we can be of assistance to you. And also with this one, the application fees are waived until 2021. So get your application in, and there's no application fee. Okay, Atlanta Catalyst Loan Fund. So the Atlanta Catalyst Loan Fund, as I mentioned, we're always looking for ways to help the businesses in the city of Atlanta. And so we approached our subsidiary company called Atlanta Emergency Markets, known as AMI, that deals with a new markets tax credit program. And so instead of them using money that they could have used to cover new staff raise, increases in salaries and overhead expense, that kind of thing, they decided to set up a new revolving loan fund called the Atlanta Catalyst Loan Fund to assist business in the city of Atlanta, as opposed to using the money for overhead expenses. So we've been very successful so far on working with several businesses in the city of Atlanta that qualify for this financing. So we're set up finance between $50,000 and $100,000, direct loans directly to the applicant, and the funds can be used to help you to buy commercial property, renovate property, acquisition, fixed equipment, working capital and inventory, all eligible items on this program. If you're a startup operation, again, you are required to come to the table with at least 20% equity. And the target areas of this program sort of mirror the same as the Business Improvement Loan Fund program. Once again, the application fee for this program also is waived until March of 2021. This is a map here that shows you in that kind of a greenish blue color there on the screen, the target areas, which really directly impacts and shows you the low middle income communities around the city of Atlanta. And I mentioned the use of funds already on that slide to the left. All right, so Atlanta Forward Loan Fund. So the Atlanta Forward Loan Fund is one of our newer programs. It was established, as a matter of fact, about like a little over a year ago. And the purpose of the fund is to finance the assistance to small businesses and startups, companies that are in a capacity building program located within Atlanta, the Atlanta-based area. So these are companies that might be located right now in accelerator facilities, incubators, co-workspace facilities that provide some type of programming to assist the elevation and further growth of these companies. So the loans can be ranged from between $5,000 to $20,000 at an interest rate at 2% fixed, with the term up to 3 years to pay it back, with a 6-month deferment before the first payment is due. And since we're actually deferring all of our loans anyway, it's automatic. It'll be automatic for them. We can also look at maybe adding on some additional leverage with them because of how the program was initially designed. And I mentioned the rate, I mentioned the city. This is citywide. You can be anywhere in the city of Atlanta. Now, the key here is that we're looking at during this time frame that we're looking at you being able to identify and also remain in the city of Atlanta and in a commercial corridor. Now, you can't be home based. Let's say you're at the Russell Center in Atlanta, and you decided to, or working with the Urban League, for example, and you're in an incubator facility now, but you decide to leave the incubator facility. So as long as you locate somewhere else in the commercial district in the city of Atlanta, the loan terms remain the same. If you decide to leave the city of Atlanta and go somewhere else, let's say go to Cobb County, Gwinnett, wherever, but it's outside the city of Atlanta, then your whole payment the balance of your payment becomes due at that particular time. We can have more detailed information on how that runs, but we've been pretty successful to date anyway with assisting businesses in these corridors and who want to expand and grow. And this fund has been able to leverage and help a lot of businesses be successful in maintaining their existing location, and also to help them kind of further get ready to expand to that next level of their business development. As I mentioned, application fees are waived until 2021 for this program as well. Okay, this is actually our newest program. This is the Community Loan Fund. The Community Loan Fund was established last year, and the whole purpose of this fund was really to assist businesses who've been around for a period of time, existing businesses. You can't be a startup on this. You have to be an existing business. And maybe you had to use credit cards. You have to pay an interest rate of 15, 19, 22%, because as I mentioned earlier, you were a startup operation, no track record, and you tend to be penalized because you don't have a track record for that particular business. And so this program was set up really to help you out, to help you up to between $10,000 and $50,000 available. Of that amount of money, $30,000 can be used to assist you in paying off high interest rate debt that you might have. Credit cards, maybe some other financial institution to charge you 15, 18, and 20% or more because you were so new. So this program is the only one we've ever had in place that allows you to use our money that we're giving you to pay off your existing debt. All right. And so the funds can also be used if you're looking at trying to buy your building, renovate your building, equipment, furniture, fixtures, and working capital, all eligible uses of funds. And it does require you to have either be attending with completion coming up pretty soon, or have completed a technical assistance program from an existing City of Atlanta institution, facility, incubator, co-work space. They had a development program to help you grow and expand your business, because the whole goal here is that we don't want you to go get our money and then go back into debt with high interest rates again. The purpose of this is to get you grounded in a more firm possibility to be able to further develop and grow your business as basically where you are right now. That's the whole purpose of the program. So we don't want you doing that. So that's why we encourage people and require people to get technical assistance help during this process that will allow them to refocus the direction and what they're trying to achieve, and not go down that same negative position they were in before with their credit and also with high interest rates. And once again, I mentioned this is citywide. You can be anywhere in the City of Atlanta qualified for it as long as you meet the qualifications that I mentioned earlier. And like the other programs, application fee waived until March 2021. Street Vending Loan Fund. So the Street Vending Loan Fund, we're in a situation here where the City of Atlanta approached us a few years ago about trying to assist some of the street vendors who had locations around the City of Atlanta or wanted to have a location in the City of Atlanta, who had gone through the process of identifying a location, had applied through the City of Atlanta's planning office, and had been awarded a particular location that they could use to set their cart in. And the cart has to, of course, be approved by the City of Atlanta in terms of the product use and also the type of cart you're going to have. So we were asked to set a program up. So we set a new program up called the Street Vending Loan Fund, where we provide financing to you up to $3,000, not to exceed 50% of the cost of your cart, which has a built-in 6-month deferment for the first payment would be due. And you pay the loan back over a 2.5-year period, but the interest rate is at 0%. So there's no interest rate on this money. Okay, there's 6-month deferment on the money, and it's really a golden opportunity for someone that's trying to grow and expand the operation, especially with being set at no interest rate. So as I mentioned, that it's a great program for those of you who are looking at already maybe have a cart that needs to fall into some new guidelines with the city, or maybe just identifying an opportunity to have a cart set up And don't be surprised that there are people say, well, I don't know, I want to go big in the cart line. Well, I know some people who in the cart business, that is their business. They might have 10, 15, or 20 of them. At least in the past they did. And, you know, so it was like a business for them. And you can't go wrong with this. You know, cart costs you $6,000. You got three. We're giving you three, basically as a low no interest loan. You know, payable back in 2.5 years after the 6-month deferment has been utilized by you, and there's no prepayment penalty for it as well. So now what I want to do, I want to go through the application process. So what we did here, this is actually the checkoff list on the screen you see right now of all the information that needs to be filled out. I'm gonna go through this because I want to make sure everybody understands what the requirements are. Some of the things on this sheet you're not applicable for, but I want to make sure that's pretty clear in terms of what you need to do. So the first thing you have to do is complete the loan application, which you can download from our website. It's basically 2 pages, very simple. I require you have manager resumes to provide a complete resume on all individuals, including key managers of your company. A personal financial statement. You want you to complete a personal financial statement, which is also available to us. You can download that from our site as well. Anyone that owns 20% or more ownership in your company should provide us with a personal financial statement. So that's in section A. Section B, business plan and projections. So if you are an existing company and you already show the capacity to cover the debt service on the loan you're asking from us, we can actually waive the projections. But if you're not showing you have that, we need to get your 2-year projection to show if you got the money from us, how that would impact your ability to increase your revenue stream and be able to deal with the debt service capacity. Now, all startups should provide us with a 2-year financial projection. 12-month cash flow projections. Now we can waive that too for existing company as long as you show your capacity to service our debt, new debt service, then we can waive that. If you can't, we need to have a 12-month cash flow projection. Now all startups have to also provide us with this projection. Number 6, narrative assumptions to financial projections and cash flow analysis. You need to tell us exactly how you came up with the figures. We want to know, we're looking for primarily, if you're like in a retail operation, and we're looking to try to see what your cost of goods sold is, how that compares with the industry standards. And we're looking for, cash flow. A key thing on cash flow is that when you give us your 12-month cash flow projection, and let's say you're asking for example, $20,000 in working capital, and you're a startup, and then you're telling us that you want to get $20,000 in working capital. But I look at your 12-month cash flow, you're not reflecting that you need it, because you're showing right out the gate that you got enough money coming in already to take care of that money. That shortfall, which right now doesn't exist on paper, so it has to exist on paper. So the system works like this. Everything you tell us you need has to be documented by your documentation you're providing us with to make sure that you have the capacity to service the debt. So make sure if you're asking for working capital of $20,000 that somehow between them, maybe your money you putting in and our money you're asking us for working capital, there's a gap there that shows that if you have this $20,000 before you open your door, then you'll be able to actually make it through that downtime period, because you already have that money flowing through. All right, so that's going to be very critical that you do that. Now, another critical part here is complete the source and use statement. And the source and use statement will provide us with the sources of all the money, where all the money is coming from that you need. If your project is $100,000, for example, and you want us to invest land to put in $20,000, you list us $20,000. Maybe you're going to put in $40,000. and now you got 60 total. And now you're going to borrow $40,000 from a bank. I'm going to identify who that bank is and what their terms and conditions are. But all that would go on and be consideration for your source of money, where your money is coming from for the $100,000. Now your calls or use of funds would be identifying all of the possible expenses you could even think of to cover that: renovation cost estimates, equipment, furniture, fixtures, working capital, all that we identified, broken out. And you're going to end up giving us documentation later on. Let's just say later on down here in this other portion here. I'm going to hit on it right now. This shows us exactly how much money you're going to need and where you're getting it from in terms of what you're going to use it from in terms of the total scope of financing that you've identified. So, for example, if you're going to be putting in money for renovation, you should have a written cost of at least 2 different contractors, and you choose the one you want to use with. But everything should be documented. That's the most important thing I want to say here as it relates to completing the source and use statement. So you're not guessing by any figures you put down there. You know pretty much completely what those cost items will be for and listed as. Okay, business plan include a description of your management, feasibility analysis, assumptions, site evaluation, competition, marketing strategy, just the general aspects of what it takes, what you're going to be doing in your business plan to grow your business, expand your business, and what your business is all about right now. So give us a kind of a clear picture of that information. And I'm identify some other organizations if you need help that can potentially assist you in that effort. Okay, going down to section C. Section C of the financial information. If your existing company, when an interim profit and loss statement within the last 30, 90 days is required, existing, expanding, and affiliates, and 20% or more ownership interest by any of the owners, shareholders, proposed borrower would be identified. So this is interim statements related to the company, existing company. Now, if you're a startup, you wouldn't have any interim statements because you haven't opened up yet. Business financial statements and tax returns for a 3-year period. This is for existing companies only, not startups. You haven't started your business yet. Startup, don't worry about it. Existing company, 3 years or more, we have 3 years tax returns on that. We also want 3 years tax returns on the persons that own 20% or more ownership in the company over the last 3 years. That'd be for an existing company or startup. Now, move down to section 6. Now, section 6, a lot of this is going to depend on your company and what you're all about. So right now, looking at item 12, which is on the section 6, a copy proposed lease estimate real estate purchase agreement. So this one here is proposed real estate. This is like if you're buying, and if you're not buying property, commercial property, don't worry about this. But if you are buying a commercial property, we're going to see a copy of proposed purchase agreement that you're working with on the seller. Now, if you are not a franchise, do not worry about 13 or 14. If you are a franchise, looking at a franchise, you want a copy of the Uniform Franchise Offering Circular. You want a copy of the franchise agreement. Item 15, a copy of existing proposed lease agreement. Now, if you're an existing company, you give us a copy of your existing lease. If you're a startup, we're not asking you to go out here and sign a lease agreement before all your financing has been locked up and in place. This is just to give us an estimate on where you're going to be going. It could be more of a term sheet kind of thing. Identify the location and where you want to go, how much the rent will be for on a monthly basis, how long will the lease be for? Because another key here is that our loan terms cannot exceed your lease terms. So if you're asking us for a 5-year loan, you only have a 3-year lease, then you got to do one or two things to reduce your loan terms down to 3 years, or renegotiate with that landlord to extend your lease prior to, if you start prior to loan closing, to 5 years. Okay, covered that. Item number 16, estimate, two estimates on equipment to be purchased. If you're buying any type of equipment, we only have two estimates on that. They've identified the fact that you did do some research and you select the one you want to use. Same with number 17. Number 17 being dealing with your construction, any kind of construction estimate. If no construction is involved, don't worry about that. If there is, we want you to get two bids on that to go ahead and move forward on that end. 18 is a list of inventory items to be acquired and list how a working capital will be used. If your working capital is going to be part of your requirement in terms of financing from us. Right now, just about all of our programs require you have a bank decline letter or a commitment letter if you're participating with a financial institution. So the bank decline letter, we're trying to get some of that waived during the COVID-19 period, but as of right now, all of our programs do require you, with the exception of the new program we're coming out with, Atlanta Cares revolving loan fund. That one with the new EDA permission, we're not required to have a bank decline letter for that particular program, but all the rest of them will have to require a bank decline letter. Now, technical assistance organization support letter, and we mentioned that for the community loan fund and Atlanta Forward Loan Fund. So both of those require you to obtain that. And those are the only two programs we have that require that. So if you're not applying for any one of those two funds, Atlanta Forward Loan Fund or Community Loan Fund, don't worry about getting a technical support letter from the organization. Additional information, we do require you to give us a copy, a picture of the exterior interior of the building that you are in or you plan to go into, a copy of articles of incorporation, if you're incorporated or partnership. And if you are not, and this is a key thing, if you're not a U.S. citizen, then you have a proof of a resident alien status, both sides of a green card, which one is applicable. And later on, you have to have a saved document. A saved document will kind of take care of a lot of that. 24, does the company or any owner have existing tax lien? This is very important here. So if you know you have existing tax liens, you got to do one or two things: either pay it off or work out a payment agreement with the county that particular lien is in, and attach that to your documentation you would give us, and we can move forward with it. All right, so that kind of completes the bulk of what we need to get. Take your time, review it, and as you go through the application process, you can reach out to us as well. And also the main thing though is making sure that you have a full understanding about what's required for the loan fund you're asking for. All right, if you need kind of technical assistance, we've identified 3 organizations right now that can help you out. The Small Business Development Center at Georgia State, and they got some other development centers in the metro area that can also work with you. This one here is at Georgia State University. You see the contact number there, and also their email address. Website's on there as well. And also you have the Atlanta Urban League of Greater Atlanta, Mark Parham. Contact person there, you got his contact number there, 404-659-1150. His contact information is there as well as their website. And lastly, the Georgia Statewide Minority Business Development Center, Donna Ennis at 404-894-2096. And you also have a website there as well to view out. So these are organizations that can all help you out. But I tell you that they work with you and not for you. Now with Donna Ennis, her operation, they look at companies that are already established with a revenue of about $300,000 or more already as an existing company. The other two, they work with you as either startup operation or existing company. It doesn't make any difference. But the main thing I would recommend here is that working with these companies here, you can't beat the cost of their service in terms of being able to assist you, either in some cases free, or some cases they have special programs that are very, very low in terms of the cost of you to participate and be involved with them. I want to show you a copy. This is some of the franchises that we financed over the years and a little history. So we financed the first Wendy's franchise to come to Atlanta. And that was back in the 80s, as a matter of fact. And the person who did that went on to have I think about 4 or 5 additional other Wendy's on that. But we were part of the original team that brought Wendy's to the city of Atlanta. And then also we financed the first This Is It restaurant. And we financed a number of this operation since that first one. That was also back in the 80s. And Supreme Fish Delight. We financed several locations for Supreme Fish Delight restaurant. And they've been very successful over the years. We financed the Popeyes at the airport, and prior to the pandemic, it was the highest grossing Popeyes in the country in terms of revenue being generated. Subways to the rest of them there. So basically, we work with you if you look at going to a franchise, or we look at working with you if you want to start your own franchise, like This Is It did, and also partially like Supreme Fish Delight did. We're currently working with a group of 2 brothers, as a matter of fact, who came to us with the idea of setting up their own franchise, being their own franchisor in the future. We financed 3 of their businesses so far to date. And I think they need to have about 5 or 6 to kind of actually make that franchise a reality for themselves. But that's just to say that, we were willing to work with you no matter how big or small your dream might be. 504 program. Now, if anybody is interested in trying to buy commercial property, 504 program is actually it's a national program. So this is one of the best programs you can actually utilize to assist you in buying commercial property for your business. And so what that means is that with the 504 program, is a 50-40-10 breakdown. Bank does 50%. SBA through a Certified Development Corporation, CDC, does 40%, and there's an equity injection of 10%. And the terms are between 10 and 25-year debentures. So the 504 would be, SBA would be in the second position behind the bank. And then the programming from Invest Atlanta has been approved, has been used as form of subordinated debt equity for the SBA 504 debenture program. So we could do 10% of that. So which means that it's possible for you to get 100% financing for your operation that requires you buying commercial property, renovating commercial property, any type of acquisition of heavy fixed equipment could be included in that, and wrapped around 100% financing, and that will allow you to use your money to be used more for soft cost working capital as opposed to going into the fixed asset portion of that financing. This is a great program. The other thing about this program is that it allows you to occupy 51% of the space and actually lease out of the 49% to a tenant or tenants. Okay, it's the only program that's supported and financed through SBA that allows you to be a speculative investor as well as a business operator. So I would encourage a lot of people to take a look at this program, see how maybe you can be helped out in terms of acquiring your property. And once again, the benefits of being in the city of Atlanta is that we can leverage that 10%. If you're in other places that may not have a program like this, you will probably not be able to take advantage of that. Okay, well, the good news is that all of our application fees have been waived until March 1st of 2021. And also all first loan repayments can be deferred until March 15th of 2021. So basically what that's saying, you work with us right now, you get your finance in place, you close on your loan, you get your money, you use your money, and your first payment not due back to us until March 15th of 2021. It's about 6 months from now. So you can not only get that money, have that money begin to work for you before you even have to pay us back a one red penny on that. So, that's one of the benefits of working with Invest Atlanta is that we care for you. And as I mentioned earlier, we only ask 2 things: for you to stay in business and to pay us back so we can pay it forward to someone else and give them an opportunity to get what you got. Package consideration deadlines, September 7th, October 9th, and November the 6th for those individual months. And if you fall a little late behind on that, you miss a payment here and there, we can still not miss a payment, but if you get a situation where you haven't been able to complete your application yet, and you miss the dates on the sheet here, just be aware of the fact that it will just roll into the next month. Sometimes we can still look at them in that particular month, but in most cases, it'll probably roll into the next month. So don't worry about the dates in particular. Okay, do you have grant funds now? This is a good time in here. Now, if you go to the InvestAtlanta website, www.investatlanta.com, the Resurgence Grant Fund is available not through me or through the loan section, but through our grant section of InvestAtlanta. If you're a business operator in the city of Atlanta at home or in a commercial storefront, you could potentially qualify for the Resurgence Grant Fund, which goes up to a loan amount of $40,000 and technical assistance of up to $10,000. So go to the website I mentioned. The deadline for application is August 31st at 5 p.m. August 31st, 5 p.m. Go ahead and do that. Get your application in, apply for that reimbursable grant money, and all the information and requirements in that program is listed on the site as well. So you'll be fully informed about all the requirements and what it takes, what it qualifies, all that kind of thing. We got a staff of people on hand to help you and assist you to make that become a reality. All right. But as far as we're concerned here, there's none of our money is actually treated as grants. It's all going to be low interest loans. Do you finance business projects outside of Atlanta? No, your business project has to be located in the city of Atlanta. Do you have to live in Atlanta to qualify for a loan? And the answer to that is no. You can live anywhere in the world, but your business has to be located in the city of Atlanta. Will I have to inject personal funds? Yes, you do. If your startup operation is 20% equity, if your existing company, the answer to that would be no. Do you charge for your programs? As I mentioned, we normally spend $100, $250 for SBA 504 participation, but normally it's not normal right now. During this pandemic, we have waived all of our loan payments, application fees on that until March, and as well as the first payment. So even if you get a loan from us, the payment's not due until March as well. Can your program be combined with other bank, SBA or SBA finance? Yes, they can, except for our industrial revenue bond products. All of our regular programs just mentioned today can be combined. We take a second position behind the bank with SBA financing all the time, so there's no problem at all with that. This grid here kind of shows you a sheet of all the different programs we have available. That is pretty much discussed today. I did cover all the programs on this sheet here. This is a grid you can download from my site as well. That kind of explains all the different programs that I just covered today in more detail, even than when I covered doing kind of brief presentation today, as a matter of fact. Now, so what do you do next? Your next step. Your next step is to get in touch. So at the bottom you see, for more information and to watch, and I also have actually about a 45-minute webinar I gave. It kind of covers what I covered just now today with this presentation. And during that time, you can go on to our website, which is www.investatlanta.com. And you can go there and you can actually have a chance to download and look at the webinar I gave. Any kind of refresher you might need in terms of information can also be covered on that. And I believe this presentation I'm giving today is going to probably be on the New Africa site, or be made available to you somehow, so you can kind of go back and kind of review that as well. So you make contact with myself and Cynthia Freeman. And when you go on the website, again, with www.investatlanta.com, you're going to be going through an online portal called Neighborly. So when you go to Neighborly, they're going to ask you a lot of questions in general. Then you have an opportunity to then fill out the application that I went over with you today. And that will allow you to download the information that's requested on the application in the appropriate areas that they'll be identified for you. The most important thing, I can't emphasize this enough, the most important thing is for you to go on the site, start the application process, get everything in, and push the submit button. Because nothing really starts in our office until you push that submit button in order for us to be able to help you grow and expand your business. So we look forward to working with you. We look forward to getting your applications in. We look forward to sharing the experience of you being potentially another candidate and another loan recipient from Invest Atlanta. So thanks. I want to thank the New Africa group.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Okay, for inviting us on, and as I say, you guys, this is off the chain. I tell you, 31 days of excellence, and I'm just glad to be a partial participant in this effort to help continue to make a difference in the city of Atlanta, and really throughout the world.
Most definitely, man. We definitely appreciate it. Before we go, I want to respect your time. I know it's almost 7 o'clock, but just to make it clear to everyone, because a lot of people who are watching this who don't live in Atlanta, some of them are business owners that have an interest, that have been texting me during this presentation. They have an interest in either relocating to Atlanta or establishing another location, whether they have a restaurant or whatever it may be, establishing another location here in Atlanta. And I know that you mentioned franchise opportunities. Like if you're going to franchise your company or establish a franchise in Atlanta, then you're still able to take advantage of.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's 100% correct.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because I know that's like, and then, well, let me ask you this too. What about if you want to take advantage of more than one program? Can you double up?
Yeah, right now it's going to be probably going to be one, but on occasion we might have a chance of doing that on a case-by-case basis. But for the most part, because we're trying to, as I say, share the love among as many people as possible, we try to limit to one.
Most definitely, most definitely. So, we're definitely in contact, about taking advantage of some of these opportunities as well. For all those who know that last year we raised about over $400,000 from the community. And immediately after raising those funds, Lonnie Saboor was one of the people that I met with, that our team met with, to figure out what's the best way to leverage those dollars so that we can really build out and have the grocery store that we know that we need. With $400,000, that's not even a house in DC, but it could go a longer way, here in Atlanta for sure. So working with, a few Black-owned banks, we've been able to, solidify our business plan to make sure that it's tight. And the SBA 504 program is one of the programs that we're going to be, working with, and we're interested in taking advantage of. As he mentioned, out of the loan amount, 50% is what the bank will cover, 40% will be covered by the CDC, and then you will just need to come up with the other 10%.
And if you come up to Atlanta, you can see me for the 10%.
Well, there you go. So there you go right there. So, this is all great information. If somebody's in a different city, there's a sister here in the chat that said that she's in Texas. She was able to, during the presentation, she took notes on the SBA program, said she's going to definitely take advantage of that. But where should a person go? Like if people come to Atlanta, they're going to see Invest Atlanta first. How should a person in Texas or in Chicago, Detroit?
Right. Yeah, I would say that especially most major cities like a Chicago and Dallas, that kind of thing, they have an economic development office, and pretty much 9 times out of 10, the economic development office is filling with all the resources that are available, help from the city, the state, the county, and I would start with them. I would call over to the economic development department or contact maybe a city hall initially, or if you know directly about the existing economic development entity, call them directly because they have access to everything. I mean, like Invest Atlanta, we network with everybody, in Atlanta, including like Georgia power companies. I mean, you're looking at having a new location somewhere, and the power companies want to be at your door to kind of help you and that kind of thing. They also have some resources and that kind of thing. So those economic development entities are normally going to be the engine that you need to go to and visit with. I don't care where you're located at. I was talking to a person the other day, as a matter of fact, who has some property, I think it's in North Carolina, and we were talking about development. And I told him, the way you need to talk to, the county office and see what they've got available. And not directly, they know there's probably a local county-wide economic development entity that exists that can work with you. So, you'd be surprised how much information is available, but we don't know where to go. And so I want to thank New Africa for really what you're doing in terms of just making people aware of what they can do, where they are, and it's surprising once you have that knowledge base on your belt. It's amazing what you can do.
Yes, sir.
Because what stops people a lot is the learning curve. So you want to minimize the learning curve, and by people participating in this program over these days in August, a lot of learning curves have been reduced.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely right, man. I was thinking about a lot of the companies that you showed on the screen, and then a lot of the companies that we know about, that is that is soaring. Whether that's Uber, whether that's Instacart, whether that's Amazon. A lot of times we just think that these companies just sort of just exist, that they didn't necessarily have funding, but a lot of these companies receive millions, hundreds of millions, and even billions of dollars in funding so that they could get where they are. Amazon itself received over $1 million in funding over 20 years ago to establish what we see today. So let's think big. Let's think big. Let's not think small. Let's think big, and then let's look for resources in our community that assist people with big thinking. And that's what we have with Invest Atlanta. That's what we have with our brother Lonnie Saboor. So we appreciate you for coming on board, sharing this information with us. And for those that want to catch this presentation, if you came in late, then check on newafricaaugust.com. Another way to get there is New Africa Convention. So you could go to either one of those sites. It will route you back to the same platform. So newafricaaugust.com to be able to check out this presentation. It will be recorded. So allow us just 24 hours or so to just edit the video and, be able to upload it onto the site. But other than that, Brother Lonnie, we appreciate it. We thank you. The information is there, it's out there, and we're going to do more to promote it and get it out there to let everybody know what opportunities are right here at our fingertips.
I thank you, and just continue the good work that you're doing. I mean, it's a blessing, and I can just see growth and further development coming to us.
Yes,
thank
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. We appreciate y'all. Tune in tomorrow, and then the last day, Monday, where we'll close up New Africa August, where we invite our whole team on for all those that are part of the development this month, New Africa August, and the convention. We want you all to get to know the team, hear from us, and then to see what we got coming up next. So with that, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Peace.
Peace now.